Any other questions?
Quick question on this is Cinerama, the film we saw yesterday. Do you have any idea what film stock they were using in the cameras to photograph that? Was that Technicolor monogram?
I do not know. A person that could tell you that would be Gain Rescher. I wish I did know more about the production end of it. I've learned more than I thought I would by talking to him, but we were kind of limited in time at the time we did talk to him. And our questions to him was more about the operation of the camera than the question you asked me.
I would imagine it would have been the monogram, which is like a Kodachrome type.
Yes.
For a very slow speed. Here I would imagine they would have used probably the Kodak color camera.
Yes. I do know when they were making Cinerama Holiday, Gain Rescher was the person to assign to use the camera over in Switzerland, and they had a ski sequence in there and also a toboggan run. But at one point in the film, they put the camera on skis and it's supposed to get to the edge of a cliff and stop, and they had people behind the camera that were on like a piece of plywood or tied to this ski thing. The camera was quite heavy, but they underestimated how heavy it was. And when they got to the cliff, sure enough, they went on over. And I've got a picture of him digging the snow out of the front of the camera.
How many Cinerama cameras were used at the time the Final West was made? You talked about number one yesterday.
Yes. They had the style camera that was made shortly after the introduction of Cinerama in New York, a different style from camera number one. They made 7 of those, but one of them is in the bottom of the Indus River. So they have 6 cameras, and those cameras still exist out in Los Angeles. One of them...
Multiple take, or not multiple take, but multiple angles of, say, the buffalo.
Yes, that's right. I think there were at least 4 to 5 of the cameras used during the Buffalo Stampede, so they could get different angles, and also a couple of them were mounted on Jeeps to run alongside the Buffalo. A lot of negative, exposed to capture scenes of that type. So, any other questions?
Yeah, I was just wondering why it was designed to run at 26 frames a second when it was first introduced, rather than the standard 24.
Well, because Fred Waller really felt in his experimentation the same way that Mike Todd felt about his Taddeo process, that the first Taddeo films were actually 30 frames per second. And 26 frames for Fred Waller's Cinerama system, because he felt for the first time a screen so immense would show the pulsations or interruption of the shutter blades in the light that comes through the projector. And because each projector only had to cover 1/3 of such an immense screen, he knew he could get all the light on the screen that he wanted readily. So by speeding it up, he felt there would be more pulsations per second of light that would be less noticeable. The more pulses you have, the less noticeable it becomes. And that's why he elected to make it 26 frames per second. Hollywood elected to slow it down because of compatibility, so they could readily and economically make a CinemaScope single film version of this, the same one that is limiting laser discs of this film and video tapes to the improper cropping of the picture, because the Cinerama process would lend itself really excellently to what is called letterboxing, if they would really make a laser disc or a videotape letterboxed directly from the 3-panel processing. But what you see right now is if you get the videotape or a laser disc, it's laser or letterbox. It's a square picture in the middle, which, as you see here, is definitely not the case. So they're cropping the height of the picture horribly, and also the sides of the picture the same way. So that probably will be the newest one you'll be able to buy in another year or so, where they've taken the time to do that. So anything else that you might have on your mind?
Well, I just wanted to say that I saw this as a kid with my family, and to see it again like this, I never thought would happen, and I want to thank everybody for it. It was just terrific.
Well,
It was
I
just
appreciate
wonderful
your
feeling.
saying that. It's really been a dream come true for me, and what a great way to remember my 60th birthday. I want to stay 59 at least. But it took a lot of things to be done along the way to make this happen here today, and here at the Neon Movies as well. But I'm glad for everything that did transpire. When I was renting it in my home, I ran it for friends and friends of friends, and never had ever charged admission. But I truly did want to be able to get it out to the paying public again. I knew it had to be that way if you were going to take it to the masses in order for them to be able to see it, because the rights to the film are still there, owned by Cinerama and Ted Turner. And if you charge 1 penny, why, it has to be known by them that you're doing that. So I did my duty down through the years, but I got a lot of experience in projecting it at home, the do's and don'ts, and knowing the film by running it as often as I did. One thing in the planning of the installation of Cinerama in my home, I'll have to tell you, there was a consideration at one time of even removing the entire main floor of my house, and I would have done that if the house was a little bit deeper, see, because I got a full basement, and I wanted to have the biggest Cinerama screen I could within my home. And I didn't do that. I had to take another direction by taking out the 2 bedrooms I did and giving up a dining area. But believing me, the house, and which is my home and my enjoyment, has been exactly that for the past 8 years. And I was telling somebody earlier today, not through planning it this way, but if I leave the bedroom door open in my master bedroom, I can wake up in the morning and see the front of the center projection room for Cinerama. So it definitely is there all the time. And it's really neat to be able to have it as I did then. Of course, with the down here, I can't do it presently, but the option of running any of the 5 Cinerama films I've been lucky enough to get. And it's really been rewarding that way.
Question. When you just show this on Sundays,
Yes.
do you take those big reels home so that they're protected? Or
No,
what kind of insurance or what kind of,
I know. I've talked to Larry about that. So definitely, I keep the film through the week in the side projection rooms, and although because we didn't have time to put the locks on the doors, we are going to be securing them that way. But that was another thing about my baby, so to speak. I was wanting to have it at home so I could keep an eye on it that way and secure it. And while it is in my home, it's insured as well, the extra insurance for it. But there's no way that you can really ever place the value on it because it's just amazing, like I say, that the prints that I have and the color still being as good as it is, how would you replace it? I don't know, unless you had $150,000. I know that is what they would charge for How the West Was Won.